Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode from TCG353. I'm Jamie and today we're playing ranked, and we're not just playing any ranked gameplay. We've got 7 matches and we're playing as the quote-unquote best deck in the format. There are some hard matchups for this deck and we have gameplay of those, but mostly if you hit your curve you're doing very well and you're going to have a good game. So let's see what happens in our first one, if that's true for our first game against Moria. We are going second, our opponent chooses to go first. We play out an Omen, a Satori, and pass, so we're drawing 2 cards and replace. Drawn to both Enels, which is good for us. Our opponent swings 6, cracks a Hogback to fill up their trash, and then swings 5 into us. We Mamaragan the 5 swing, of course. Then we use the Satori to swing back into their trigger character and reorganize our life. We have a portion hand, and the way I like to organize a turn when we have portion hand is that I'll swing 5 rather than 6, so I won't attach 4 Dawn, I'll attach 3 Dawn, so that I can gain an active Dawn and play out the portion end on my next turn. I just think it's a pretty strong and quite aggressive turn. Our opponent triggers out a Hogback and we freeze that and pass turn. Our opponent then on their turn uses the Zoro, discard a card from hand and heal life, which is a very strong card in the Gecko Moria deck at the moment, which has seen a resurgence in play. Our opponent swings 5, we counter out. You can take there as well, but we have the counter, so we use it. We also have a freeze option next turn, so we're not going to be taking all that many hits. Granted, now our opponent triggers out another body, which is of course going to happen, and now we put a Mamaragan on the top for life to draw into the Lightning Dragon next turn once we use the Mamaragan. So we'll freeze here, down -1, or we'll choose to swing first. We're going to be freezing this turn, absolutely, and it'll probably be the Hogback we swing, though it doesn't make much of a difference. Or rather it does, and the reason for that is that they only get a searcher off if we swing at that dog, whatever his name is, but we Absalom. But if we swung it to Hogback, they'd be able to spawn out. I don't know if they have a Kiku in trash, but I think they have a Zoro in trash, so they'd be able to spawn out a Zoro so they'd heal, which we definitely don't want. Our opponent swings 2k into our 2k body they can have, swings 6 into us, and we take that. Sort of prompting them to swing bigger, because it would be good for us that they would ruin their own momentum if they just chose to swing something like 9 there. Like, we would take it, absolutely, we'd kind of have to. It would just be good for us. However, our opponent does choose to establish their board. They play down the Perona, crack the Perona, so they freeze both their double attacks, which is quite a good turn for them actually. And now we are thinking on how we want to work the Dawn. These were some of my first games of Purple Enel, and what I realised while playing the deck was that while it is incredibly strong, it is there are some things that you ought to do, and one of those things, which sounds kind of obvious now that I'm saying it, is play down your 6 drops consistently. Here while I was playing, I was, especially now that my opponent has very little life and we seem pretty safe for next turn, I was okay with not playing down my 6 drop because I just wanted to be aggressive into their life. But it would have been better for us, I think, to just develop that body. They can't freeze everything that we have. They can only freeze 1 Enel, and once we start swarming the board with Enels, they find it a little bit more difficult. That being said, Moria does have very good answers to Purple Enel, so it could be that playing wide in this matchup actually helped us because we were able to get many swings into their life. We choose to swing 8 into their leader at the end. We'll see what they'll trigger. Most likely a body, maybe it's a searcher. Yeah, they trigger out a Perona and get a freeze off. All those freezes go now, and our opponent is in a situation where they need to swing for life. I think they might be able to get it if they spread out their Dons in such a way. We have 2k and a 1k, and the 1k draws, and we'll have 3 life, so we'll probably draw counter from that. So we could be in a good position, but it's hard to tell sometimes when your Mamaragan is in hand what the next card is going to be. It could be another brick. That being said, we do have a lot of bricks in hand, so it could be likely that we'd get away with this. Our opponent chooses to swing 9 into our Porsche, which might not be the move. You just have to think that going for game here for them is much more important, even given the board state that they have. They have quite a lot of bodies on board. Scratch that as well. Our opponent couldn't have gone for game last game because we froze the Zoro. So they just swing all into us, and we take every swing because we don't need to not take the swing. If you get me, we wanted as many cards in hand to be able to minus down so we could attach swings. So we swing 5 into them, and they take trigger out of Perona and freeze one of our bodies. We have another body on board, so we swing. We attach 6 to 8, swing 5 into Moria, who has 0 cards in hand, 0 blockers, 0 life, and it's a good game to our opponent. I do like the way we played that matchup. We were quite aggressive, and they didn't really have space to play out their bigger bodies, I guess, because their life total was low. Also, we did get lucky with drawing into Porsches and Ohms, and once you get an Ohm in hand with a Purple Enel, it is quite good. The next matchup now, we're up against Black Emu. We chose to go second to take Emu's curve. Maybe you don't have to because Purple Enel is so strong. It could be that not giving them their curve, or us taking our curve rather than not giving them their curve, is more important. We'll see now in this matchup how that works. I haven't played against Black Emu all that much. It's not a very played deck in the meta, though it is still very strong. What did I see in the stats? It's like 4,500 matches have been played with Emu recently, where he's with Purple Enel, for example. I think it has been like 65,000, 60,000, something like that. So just massive, so much more. We play down the Holy and swing with the Ohm. The reason we play down the Holy afterwards is that we want them to take a life. We don't really want them to counter. So if we played down the Holy, then they'd be able to. Then they'd absolutely counter because they wouldn't take the double attack, and we just want to get their life down. Our opponent kind of gets a perfect curve there, where they have that 3 cost guy to KO our Ohm and our Holy. But I mean, we got a perfect curve to have Ohms and Holies anyway, so we're not too mad at that at all. We played on a Porsche into an Ohm, so you know, here it comes again, and we're able to play out a Frankie now and swing 5 at their leader. I believe they took and we passed. They have 2 Walkeries on board, so those are 2 blockers that draw. We don't have Mamaragans in hand yet. We're hoping to pull into those, and once we start putting down our secret rare Enels, that is one card that we might prioritize. Our opponent on, what turn are we on? Turn 4, plays out 2 Saturns, searches, they get the Never Existed event, and they draw into a Marcus Mars. The Mars will definitely be strong in this matchup if they are able to KO the Holy, and even just putting down the blockers, useful for them. Our opponent doing something interesting here where they're swinging their blockers, of course just to put more aggression on us, but maybe they don't have to. Like, of course they have the event in hand to block out of the Holy swing, and the aggression is good. So look, maybe you can tell me in the comments what you think of that play there. They did have those to swing, so I guess it is useful for them. But now we can freeze them, which is actually very handy. We're looking at what we want in hand. It's a Mamaragan, there it is, and we trash a blocker now because we don't think it's going to come up all too much. That being said, we also have one in hand, so it's not terribly necessary. We have 2 Mamaragans in hand now. We drew into it once we froze their Walkery, and we choose to swing 9 into their lead. They have the event and they give us counter, which is all well and good, and we pass the turn. So now we are on turn 5. We pass to our opponent. They have 9 down. You've noticed there that they've used the Marijoa stage instead of the 7 cost, and maybe that's some hidden tech that I didn't know about. When you're playing as Emu into Enel, because I guess they want to go first into this matchup, or rather we gave them first, so they must have chose that stage because they prefer going first when they have Marijoa. Like, if you're going first, then you can play out a Jupiter on your 1, 3, 5, 7 turn 4, which is like always a strong turn in all fairness. Yeah, maybe that's the reason. It's hard to say, to be honest. Maybe that's why they swung with their blockers, that they try and go aggressive in this matchup. Who knows? Who knows, really, honestly. So here now, our opponent swings into our board and clears it out. We let them have it. We have 3 life. Their next turn, of course, they're going to use the Celestial Dragons card. So now we are pretty sure we're going to go for game, and what we're thinking about here is whether we'll return active Don or whether we'll attach Don and then return it. We choose to return the active Don because, one, if they draw, like, if we swing first, they'll probably just block anyway, and I don't want to run that risk. And 2, if they do block, they draw, and they might draw into more counter, which I don't want to see either. So we choose to swing 5 first to give us counter. We choose to then swing 8. It'll be best to do, I think, yep. 10, there it is. Attach 6 to our holy, swing 10. Minus some power for the fun of it, and swing 10 into our leader. Into our opponent's leader. Good game to our opponent. In hindsight, I like the way they played a matchup. I think them using their Walkeries aggressively was probably the right way to play it. Possibly the board control at the end wasn't absolutely necessary, and they could have kept 2 Walkeries up there. Would have actually made it quite hard for us to go for lethal, because we would have had to use 2 Mamoragans, and the math on lethal would have been slightly different, but not all too much different, to be honest. Not all too much different. So good game to our opponent, and this here's a quick game. I just wanted to show the coolness of the ranked ladder sometimes, that we come up against a black yellow koala. And let me know in the comments if you want to see gameplay from this deck, because I was thinking about some theory craft and stuff with it, and I think there is like good potential when you start running the more yellow package. Like, if you've noticed in the small text of Dragon, you can spawn out any 6-cost card. It's not just Revolutionary Army, it's just Revo Army that you have to put back into your deck. So mostly Revolutionary Army package with really strong 6-cost below yellow cards could be strong. Like, you could run your Borsellino and your Secret Rare Luffy and spawn those out then after they get KO'd. So you could effectively loop Borsellinos, which is kind of cool. So on that turn there, we played out our Secret Rare Enel, we drew Mamoragan, and we trashed. We then swung 6 with our Showa, 6 with our Porsche, 5 with our leader, putting on a lot of aggression. Our opponent swings 5 into our Showa, gets it off the board, and swings 5 into our lead, and plays down a Kuma to heal back 1. We freeze after playing the Secret Rare Enel and attach Don to our Porsche. We'll see what our opponent does now, and we swing 9, so we have 6 and 9 and 10 swings, and our opponent has 0 life now, and it is turn 4, so they're in a tricky enough spot. We can't counter out of this, so we choose to, because my feeling was that our opponent wanted to go and use that A cost, as I was telling you guys about the A cost dragon. So I just wanted to give them counter so they couldn't play that on the curve. That was the logic there. We have a Gamma Knife into an L Tor play here, and our opponent doesn't counter for the first hit, or doesn't block for the first hit, so we're actually able to take it off the board and quite effectively use leader ability now to attach 3 Don to an L, 1 Don to other an L. The L Tor made it 12, so it was 12 and a 13. Our opponent didn't have counter. They didn't have the Don up they had Don up for only 1 event, so not for the 3 that they had in hand, and it was only an extra counter as well. So they had 5k counter, we swung 12, we swung 13. Good game to them. Let me know if you want to watch some Black Yellow Koala gameplay. It's hard against it's hard for decks like this against strong decks like Purple Enel, especially that I saw my curve. So it was a good game from opponent, and just good to see that sort of rogue deck on ladder. We are up against Blue Yellow Nami now. We got the dice roll, so we're going first. Our opponent plays out a girl on their turn and attaches a rested onto leader, trashes, and draws. We play out to Satori, and our first turn was the Shura. We attach 4 to Shura, attach 5 to Shura, and swing 7 into their life, which is a bit of a misplay. Oh no, sorry, it's not. Because we have the Eltor, so the Eltor, it allows us to add 1 power to our leader, and we have a Dawn, so we can swing 2 7s that turn, and we get to Eltor their girl, which is actually huge for this matchup. I think prioritizing Eltor as a Purple Enel player against Blue Yellow Nami is a real strong way to be competitive in the matchup. They freeze their Satori, so there's not much to do. We can attach a Dawn to this, but it doesn't really matter, because if they want to take, they'll take. If they want to use leader ability, they'll use leader ability. 6 does not very much against Nami at all, though. So it would be 5 and 7 you'd always want to swing. Opponent swings 7 into us, and they get a life out of us with that Nami. So they get 2 life there, which is a pretty strong turn for them. And we play out the blocker now, activate the main to trash, and we trash the Porsche, which isn't going to come up this game. We're deciding on who we want to attach Dawn to, so it is the Satori. We swing 5 into them, they use leader ability, we swing 7 into them, we reorganize our life and put them, I think we put them at the bottom, is what I thought. It looks like they came up anyway. We freeze, we put them on top, so we froze their Perona, and because we put the 2k on top, we draw into it, which is quite nice. They swing into a Satori, they can have that. We take the block on the 6, and it's all well and good. We set out another blocker now, which is another strong turn, and we're considering which one we want. We kick the Gamma Knife out because it's kind of hard for us to take out any of their board, so there's no point in trying really. So now we are in a spot where we swing 11 into their 7. If they have counter for this, they do, yeah, of course. And we swing 14 into their 7. Our opponent has 1 life. I'd imagine what the last card is a Robin, because they were so adamant on keeping a life up. We'll soon find out. No, it was a Newgate, and Newgate is just so good in the Nami deck. They swing 7 into us, we give them counter. They swing 5 into us, we give them counter. They swing 10 into our Nell, which we were hoping that they would do, and we give them counter for that. If they swung into life, we would have of course taken. And now we are just going to split out our Dawn. The 10 was a test, they had to block, so we're pretty sure now that we're able to get game once we just use leader ability and our opponent concedes. Good game to our opponent. I think getting the girl off the board early on in the game was really useful, because it didn't allow them to do certain plays. Like I bet on 5 Dawn they could have used Borsellino, but they, or maybe not Borsellino but another character, but they couldn't because they had to use this Nami to get the rest of Dawn. Also, they got a nice curve with their Nami, so they did have that in all fairness. But we were just very aggressive. We swung correctly with our numbers as well, so we were able to put pressure on their hand from early. So good game, and let's get into the next one, which is against Blue Rebecca, who I've seen a bunch of in ranked, and in all fairness, I'm not 10 billion berry bounty, so maybe it's the meta of lower ranked. But this deck is giving me problems, I'll be honest. I find it hard to play against. Maybe you guys have a solution in the comments you'd let me know about. But yeah, I'm not sure whether I can swing into Kairos or not, whether that'll give them value, or I know it has an on-KO that it comes back into their hand, so I don't see the point of swinging into it, but also it's so annoying that I want to swing into it, you know? So it's a bit tricky. I think maybe swinging into it is the right move, but Rebecca's hand size is so huge that it's just tricky. Anyway, our turn is on now, turn 3. We have a Holy on the board, and we just played out an Ohm. We also used a Mamaragan to rest their Sanji blocker. Swing 6 into the 4, and we swing 9 into their 5, and our opponent takes both of those. They swing 6 into our Holy, and we're actually going to give them counter for that because, well, they have 2 life and Rebecca can't swing. They play out the Boa Hancock, which is very strong in this Rebecca deck. I've played, as I said, a few matchups today against Rebecca, and this Boa Hancock surprised me initially because I wasn't expecting it. And when Boa surprises you and you're running a deck that pretty much has 6 costs and 1 costs, you know, it hurts a little bit. We're able to freeze the Cavendish. We swing into their leader with 9, and now we use leader ability on Shura to swing 6. See what they do. Of course, they're going to give us counter. Their hand size is quite big at the moment, so they do definitely have counter for that. Our opponent swings 8 into 2. They can have that. We're still sitting at 5 life, so they will eventually have to swing into our lead. They use another Boa to freeze and bottom deck the Ohm, so maybe they'll never have to swing into lead. And now we are looking at a situation here where we'll probably just want to establish a big board and kind of not starve them because they have so much hand, but be less aggressive than what we have been because they only have one card in hand, or 1 life. It would be best for us to have really, really big bodies on board. Then it would be to just constantly swing and lose bodies. So we're going to swing 6, see what they do. Consider swinging with Frankie, and we'll swing 9, and our opponent takes. Yeah, we have a Mamaragan in hand, and we're going to prioritize keeping that with the counter we have. The reason for that is that we'll be able to rest Rebecca if they choose to be aggressive with it, or be defensive to attach it on and make it a blocker. They do have so much cards in hand though, so we'll have to keep that in mind. So we take 2 swings this turn, and they do use the Rebecca as a blocker. They also freeze our Enel, so there's not much we can do there. We use the Enel ability and draw into an El Tor, which is the next best thing, or which is probably better than Mamaragan in this situation because we can add a Dawn to our add power to our Holy. So now we can swing 5 into their leader just to get 1k and swing 10 into their leader with Holy. They use Slave Arrow, which is a pretty cool card for this deck, and give us a 2k. And now their board is actually looking quite strong. They do have 3 swingers, and of course they play a bunch of Kairos. So they have prospects elite, I guess, if they go about it in such a way. They swing 8 into us, we'll take. They swing 8 into us, we'll take. I know they can only rush once, so we were kind of thinking, alright, if they bring out a rusher, then they'll probably do like 12 and 11, and I think we have counter for 11, so we are happy enough to take there. Our opponent uses 2 Dawn, uses Viola to search, gets counter, uses Rebecca, draws a Viola, counter, bounces the Viola back to hand, so they just gained 6k counter there with that sequence. Swing 11 into our Holy and pass. We can't protect the Holy, so it's fine. We also have 2 massive bodies on board that we are going to prioritize first. Again here, like the Emu game, we use the Mamaragan on active Dawn because we don't want them to get a block off at all. We just want to swing into them as much as we can, really. We swing 5 at the start to just chip life. We don't have anything in hand really that can help us activate leader ability after we've attached on, so we are going to keep them up. We swing 13 into their life, and we will gain max Dawn and swing 13 into their life. So 5, 13, 13 to get lethal. Good game to our opponent. I think the Rebecca deck actually does very well when they see Shakuyaku. That is a card that when you bounce your own character, the opponent has to bottom deck a card from their deck. And from the games that I've played with Purple Enel, I find it, when I do lose, which does happen actually, it does, I think it's quite a difficult deck to pilot. Maybe it's just my playstyle. For the Shakuyaku, it's really useful against Purple Enel because it bottom decks a card in their hand, so their hand size does get lower as they play. Also, the games I played, they got really nice triggers, so I think Rebecca's running 4 sets of Barrier Pistol and maybe 2 Grab Blades. I don't know if it's the norm, but it seems like a good, strong way to play. Let's go into our next game against Blue Yellow Nami. Again, there's a bunch of them on the sim, of course. So we start off the game with playing a Frankie, draw 2, trash 1. We draw into an L-Tor and we use it immediately and swing 7 at their leader with 1 L-Tor attached for the 1000 power and a Don attached as well. So 7k lead, and we have a Frankie on the board, so quite a good turn. We use the Mamarag in here because we're just trying to draw into counter. Our hand is so bricky, and that is also the reason that we play out the Blocker Enel first, is that we kind of want to trash cards in hand, because this just looking at the Porsche kind of annoys me. We swing 6 into their lead. Probably would have been better here, yeah, to swing 10 into their lead, because as I mentioned earlier, 6 and 5 are the exact same numbers against Nami. When it's a 5k leader, it's just going to use 7k leader ability. So that's something to note. 6k does nothing. It's just a waste of 1 Don. You see there as well that they would have had not enough Don, or they would have had to give us 2 2ks rather than 2k and a 1k. So things to consider. You're always trying to get these little victories in value. We get an Enel secret rare onto the board, and now we're looking at the top for life to see what we want to take. We take a 2k. We choose to freeze now, and that is exactly what we'll do. We'll gain our max Don, and we'll attach 4 to our Frankie, so we'll swing 5 at their lead. They'll give us leader ability, of course. We'll swing 9 at their lead. And what I like about this swing here is that there is still a bit of ambiguity on whether we will attach to our Enel or not. And what we're doing here now is just checking if we have enough counter. We kind of don't. So we choose to instead swing into their Nami. A good thing about swinging into their Nami there as well is that they only have 3 life. So my biggest fear when I swing into Nami is that they'll trigger out a Borsalino. I don't think the Blue Yellow Nami runs a Zoro, so that's kind of fine. But triggering out a Borsalino is scary. So if they're on 2 life, I probably would never swing into Nami, because then bringing out a Borsa and healing life is just so frustrating. Our opponent swings 7 and 7 next turn, and surprised they had a Borsalino, so they play it out, so they're back on 3. We use a Blocker Enel and activate its ability, trash card. And now we are going to start the same sequence that we usually do. We don't attach Don to the Satori, however, which we could have spread out Don a little better, I guess, but we choose not to. Place some cards on the top of my deck so we can draw into some counter for next turn. We have 4k counter in hand, which is pretty nice. Our opponent triggers out a Kiku, so we activate our ability to become blockers. Now we'll see how the board state shakes out here. Our opponent plays out a Kid to trash a life from us. We do have 2 blockers up, so we're kind of doing fine. And here, right, so we choose to block both of these swings because we're hoping that our opponent will swing with their Borsalino, because we still have 2k counter for them. So we're hoping they'll swing with their Borsalino, because having that blocker off will pretty much guarantee lethal. So we have the L-Tor, and really we want a Gamma Knife. If we get a Gamma Knife, we can get this Borsa off the board very easily. So we'll play this Shore out just to draw and see what happens with that. We swing 7 into them. I forget the lineup of lethal that we do, but I think it's pretty good. We use a Shore ability here, and we draw into the Gamma Knife. We manifested that, and so we use the L-Tor ability with Gamma Knife, add power to Satori. No, we need 3 swings to go through, so I think whittling down their hand size probably isn't the play. It's better off just going big with what we have. So we are there, KO'd the Borsalino. They took the first life, they took the second life, and they don't have enough counter for the third. GG's to our opponent. Would we have won there if we didn't pull into the Gamma Knife? Who knows? Who knows? Probably not, in all fairness. I won't lie to you guys. We would have been able to set down 2 blockers, but they had 4 swings, and we would have had 0 or 1 card in the hand for counter, which was 1k. So probably not. So that Gamma Knife pull at the end was absolutely godly. Good game to our opponent. I'm sure they were a bit disappointed over that. We were very lucky in the end, but a good game all the same. We did play it right up until the end, and we were rewarded, I guess, with very good luck. Next game now against Red Yellow Bonney. We are going second. We play out 2 ohms on our first turn, and we, unlike the first game where we waited for a while to play out our holy, we are going to use it immediately here to put the threat of double attack on the board. We don't have an Eltor, but we have a Mamaragan, so we can actually rest that blocker, so we can go aggressive with a double attack next turn if we do choose to. They use their leader ability to -1 to ohm and swing 6 into it. We let that go, we have another one, so it's not too important to us to keep. We use Secret Rare Enel, and we will think about drawing into another Enel. Our hand is very, very nice in counter, so it'll be worth it. We rest our blocker down, and we attach. We're thinking about everything. I think we won't go everything. We'll swing 6, and then we'll swing 8. So we're not, like, we're okay with not having the holy on board next turn, I guess, yeah, because they're going to swing 9 into it now, but we're okay with swinging with the leader first and the holy there, because them giving us 2-2Ks would actually be very good. And also Red Yellow Bonney doesn't run all that many 2Ks, has a few 1-cost events, so them not having a down up signaled a little bit that they wouldn't be able to get out of that. We use a Gamma Knife into a holy, into a lightning dragon, and we can remove the Zoro with the lightning dragon, or with the ohm swing, because ohm also minuses 1k, and we've frozen the Nami, so now they have character rush, which they will be using right now. That's all well and good, and they swing 7 into us. We can counter, we choose not to. And now Deja Vu for our opponent. We use the Gamma Knife, and we use the Lightning Chitin, I believe, to -1k, so that's -6k on Zoro. It should be a 3k body now. And we swing with our holy first, I think. Yeah. The double attack's not going to come online, but having holy on board is just a stronger button than Shora sort of way. But we'll just prioritize getting the life off of them now. So we do, we're lucky for that, and we're able to rest them again, so they can't get lethal next turn, which is very useful. We only have 4k counter in hand, despite our hand size looking quite strong. Our opponent is digging for something. My guess it will be the Egghead Luffy. That's 10 cost, because it is so good, and it could be really good against Enel as well. I haven't played against it all that much. Our opponent gets a Centaur on board, but we draw into a Eltor. We play down our own blocker, and we start doing exactly what we were hoping to do, which is KO this Centaur. We can't rest the Borsino, which is a shame. They've already gotten our blockers off the board, our ohms off the board. We swing 7 into their lead, they give us counter. We swing 8 into their lead. They are thinking on what to do here. They give us a 2k. We swing 10 into them, and they use an ability which gives them 2k and minuses us 2k. So we have 3k counter in hand. We have a blocker on board. Our opponent does have 3 swings, and yeah, right here does want to swing them, which is cool. We draw into a 2k, so we're actually safe now. But look at this, we didn't expect that to happen at all. Our opponent has the unblockable Sanji in deck, so we use a 2k, and a 1k. The Mamaragan is the last 1k. We're at 10k, and we draw into 1k counter at the end. So good game to our opponent. They really caught us off guard there. I thought they were going to split with the Borsellino and the Nami, but they didn't. They went unblockable with Nami and completely went past the Enel blocker that we had up. So they nearly got us. We just got lucky off the rip and off our life. So double luck there, I think. It was a good game though, definitely. And their hand was quite bricky, so we would have got them back on the crackback with our 2 10k bodies and probably 7 and an 8k swing, if we could have managed that, which I believe we could have. Yep, 7 and an 8k swing, 10 and a 10. That would have been how we would have mathed it out. Good game to our opponent, and good games in general. that was Rank Ladder. It was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed watching the videos. If you did, leave a like, and if you want to see more, you can feel free to subscribe. I post pretty much every day, and I really enjoy making the content. I love engaging with you guys in the comments as well, so make sure to leave a comment on this video if you like playing Purple Enel. If you don't, all that sort of stuff. I hope to see you there, and if I don't see you there, maybe I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you. Bye now.